I went young in life, so I graduated when I was 21 years of age. And I returned from the college back home to Hamburg, where my parents lived. And when I returned, I thought by myself, I'm going to plan it in such a way that I have one day in London, in the United Kingdom, to do some sightseeing. So I arrived in London by train in the morning. My connection was late at night, so around midnight, to Germany. In those days we went by train and not by plane. The train went on the ferry and then it went home. So I wanted to do some sightseeing, but I couldn't join an organized group because I had no money for it. I just had a couple of half crowns in my pocket. The people told me, you can buy a ticket, a day ticket for so and so much, and then ride any bus you wish in London for one day. Well, that suited me. I had that money. I bought the ticket and I got into those double-decker buses. Anyone didn't know where it went. Went one direction. Then there was another hub there. I just changed, got into some other bus. I had no idea where it went. I never saw Buckingham Palace. Went that direction, I changed that direction, it changed that direction and that direction and that direction. For hours. After a couple of hours, I thought I need to stretch my legs. I walked off the bus and walked into a residential area in London. At that time, a city of 10 million people. And as I was walking through this pleasant suburb of something, I passed a house and I saw a nameplate outside. I read George Jeffreys. George Jeffreys. I mean, I came fresh from college. I had learned about George Jeffreys. George Jeffreys was a man who had brought the gospel of signs and wonders to the British Isle. I'd read his book. That touched my heart. But I thought he was already dead. That part I hadn't learned at school. So I said, well, Jeffreys is a very common name in Britain. There will be thousands of Jeffreys, and George, even more. There must be thousands of George Jeffreys in Britain. But a still small voice said to me, you've got plenty of time. Why can't you find out? So I walked through the front garden and I pressed the bell. And a lady opened. I said, ma'am, my name is Reinhard Bonnke. May I ask a question? Does the George Jeffrey live in this house who was that firebrand evangelist and brought the gospel of signs and wonders to the British Isles? She said to me, yes. Oh, I said, may I please see him? She said, no. And please excuse me for saying it, but that lady filled the door frame. I couldn't pass. But while she said no, suddenly I heard a voice, a deep voice from the inside. Let him come in. I don't know how I passed that barrier. But in I was. And I saw him come down the stairs, perfectly dressed, as if he had been waiting for someone. He came down, I shook his hand, I started to talk. I said, my name is Reinhard Bonnke. I've read your books, and Jesus has called me to be an evangelist in Africa. I have prepared for it. I know that God used you to bring the... I was not talking all the time. He didn't say a word. That old man didn't say a word. He just put his hand on my shoulder, and then he fell on his knees on the carpet and pulled me down with him and laid his hands on me and blessed 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 me, and the glory of the Lord appeared. I left half an hour later. And as I was staggering back to the bus stop, I kept saying to myself, how did I come to this man? I didn't even know he was alive. He wasn't on my mind. I had no address. I just didn't have the money for a guided tour. And I came exactly to this house. And the Holy Spirit touched my heart and said, the Lord said to me, the Holy Spirit was your bus driver. It sounds like a fairy tale, but it is the truth before God. I knew I got something. That night at midnight I caught the train at Victoria Station in London to go back home. I arrived in Hamburg the next day. My father was at the station to come and pick me up. We greeted each other. I hadn't said anything of my experience. My father said, Reinhard, I just had a call. They say George Jeffreys died in London. Then I knew I had picked up a mantle. There was a connection. There was a connection. I believe in connections. These connections are invisible, but they are from generation to generation. George Jeffreys only became 72 years old. He had dressed up. The Lord must have told him, someone is coming. And I didn't know it was me. But thank God it was me. And today it is you.